What's up, guys? DrFeelGood here, back again with another video prescription. And it starts. Yeah. You're probably wondering, DrFeelGood, what the hell are you talking about? What has started? I will inform you. So today, I ran across, if I can recall correctly, a Kotaku article talking about, basically it headlined how arms seemingly has no legs. Now, I did share this article on Google Plus, but the first thing I said is do not click on it. So I would not be sharing this article in the description. I won't be doing that because I don't want you to feed into their clickbait article and get them views and make them money. I don't want you to do that. It's BS. It's clickbait. However, I read a portion of it, most of it actually, and it's typical BS. For the most part, really it's typical BS. People, it seems to me that the measure of success has changed dramatically over the last couple of generations, okay? I say couple because technically we are in the 9th generation. The Switch is a 9th generation console. It is the only 9th generation console, but that's another discussion for another video, all right? So, now I'm going to give you rough numbers here. These are from various articles and VG Charts, and I think VG Charts' latest update was as of June 10th, all right? At least of the games I looked up. So if ARMS seemingly has no legs, and by that they mean the game's not holding up well or not selling well, let's break that down objectively, shall we? Now, Nintendo released recent numbers, the company numbers, and I think it stated that the Switch has essentially sold 4.7 million units. And this is only because they can't get the things out fast enough to get them in people's hands. It would probably be around 7 right now if it wasn't for these shortages. But moving on. So let's just say 5 million. I'm just going to round up and say 5 million. I know it's 4.7, but let's just say 5 million to keep it simple. And ARMS, as of the end of June, of course, because they haven't gotten to, all of July numbers yet, but has sold roughly 1.18 million units. Let's just say 1.2 million. Do you guys know that is roughly 25% of the Switch's install base? ARMS sold 1.2 million units in 2 weeks. 2 weeks. What other console exclusive has done that outside of Nintendo? I'm not saying no PlayStation exclusive has done it or no Xbox exclusive has done it. I know they have. But keep in mind that the Switch install base is just shy of 5 million units, right? And this is after about 4 months on the market. It launched on March 3rd, April, May, June. Just 4 months. Okay? 5 million units, just about. And it didn't launch during the holiday season. It launched months after the holiday season. Okay? Keep that in mind. So it didn't get any of that holiday hype that systems have gotten all the way up until this point. 25%. So out of 5 million consoles, essentially, 1.2 million. That's a pretty damn good attach rate in just 2 weeks. Now, I'm not saying the game has sold another million units in the month of July. I don't know. The numbers have not been released yet. However, think about it. Just 2 weeks. It released, June 16th? And you get the numbers go all the way up until the end of June, which is June 30th. So essentially, it had 14, 15 days on the market. before they close out the monthly numbers. 2 weeks. Okay? That's damn good for a new IP. Remember, this is a new IP, not recently established. This is a new IP, first time ever, on a brand new console within the first few months of its release. Come on now. I hate to say this, but it did better than Sunset Overdrive, which I think has barely sold over 1 million after being on the market for years. Okay? I mean, how is that considered not having legs? Now, it may not have the evergreen selling power of, say, Breath of the Wild or Mario Kart, things like that, but still, new IP, that's pretty damn good. Now let's compare this to other major IPs. Uncharted 4 had moved only just over 4 million units before the holiday Uncharted PlayStation 4 bundle. Okay? Just over 4 million units, I believe. And then after the bundle launched, the game reached just over 8 million units. Even still, before the bundle, the PlayStation 4 was sitting around, 45, 50 million units according to Sony? That's less than 10% of the install base. And this is an established IP. Sony's most known, most reputable IP, and established one. Been established since the PS3, right? It's been around for years. Hasn't Uncharted been around for roughly 10 years now? 9, 10 years? Yeah. So an established IP on the leading platform, leading generation platform, and still leading platform today, if you count 8th and the Switch, which is the 9th gen, 45 to 50 plus million units, and you only sold 4 million before the bundle. Now, if you want to fast track to today and include the bundle sales, 8 million units sold out of 60 plus million, you're just over 10%. Barely. And keep in mind, it's unfair because Uncharted 4 is an established IP. This is the 4th game, and it's not including if you the handheld versions. I think it's Uncharted Golden Abyss that was on the Vita or PSP. I forget which one. But yeah, an established IP that's also had a bundle. So it has 2 advantages. And yet it still has less of an attach rate than ARMS on the Switch. Oh, I know y'all tasting that salt, right? Let's move on, shall we? Let's go ahead and, and hit up Microsoft. Now, of course, Microsoft, let's just say Halo Wars 2. That's their online multiplayer game, at least one of them, right? It's sold less than 200,000 units since its launch. And it's also an established IP. Now, mind you, it's recently established. I think the first game came out like in 2008, maybe 2008, 2009, something like that, somewhere around there on the Xbox 360. Okay, but even still, the IP, the franchise, has been around a lot longer than ARMS. This is ARMS first coming out this year, whereas Halo Wars has existed since the 360, although technically they're just on their second game. Okay, but still, so far, less than 200,000 units sold. It bombed. A recently established IP. And it's actually a spinoff from a long established IP and their biggest, best-selling, and most popular one at that, Halo. That's even more embarrassing, right? But I know what you're going to say. I know you fanboys are saying, well, that's a RTS. That's not really that's a niche genre for Xbox owners. Okay, you're right. I'll give you that. So let's jump into Halo 5, which is the 5th iteration on, of an established IP. I think it's actually more than the fifth, but it's, as far as numbers, number 5. All right. It is sold just under 5 million units on a system with roughly a 30 million plus install base. Let's just say safely sold through the consumers. I'll even give you guys, I'll give you a curve. I'll throw you a curve. Let's say that sold through the consumers, the Xbox One has 25 million, right? That's a curve. That means Halo 5 is still only sold to roughly 20% of the Xbox One's install base. And I'm not sure if the game is on Windows 10. It may be, but just the Xbox One fan base or install base, roughly 20%. This is an established IP. Let's not forget that. Halo 1, 2, and 1 and 2 were on the original Xbox. Of course, Halo 3 it was the 360. You had Halo 4, then you had ODST, you had Halo Reach, then you had Halo 5, right? And let's not forget Master Chief Collection. So it's kind of like you have a lot of games, and this is your biggest IP, best-selling IP, period. Basically, Master Chief is the Xbox mascot. I'm pretty sure you guys would agree with me on that. It's not Blinks the Cat. Okay? Still, comparing that to ARMS, a newly established IP on a newly released console, still embarrassing. ARMS is around 25%, so it's still higher. Just, keep that in mind. I thought I'd, give you some comparison. And just in case other fanboys want to bring up other release popular titles, if you want to go buy a new IP for the PlayStation, okay, Horizon Zero Dawn. Now, it's not an online multiplayer game, but okay, it's a very popular game. Going on some great reviews, and it actually sold decently well. But let's look at Horizon. Horizon is sold just over 3 million. It is a new IP, so it's in the same vein as ARMS, right? Although ARMS is made by Nintendo, Horizon is made by Guerrilla Games or whatever, and that's technically a third-party exclusive, which makes it second-party. All right, but still, okay, exclusive to the PlayStation 4. So 3 million units. The PlayStation 4 has an install base, again, of over 60 million. That is less than 10%. No, that's actually less than 5%. That's around 5%. Roughly 5% of the total install base of PS4 purchased Horizon Zero Dawn. And this is a critically acclaimed game, even being compared to the likes of Breath of the Wild by some. 5%. It's like people like to look at the numbers themselves and not exactly the ratio, not exactly the percentages. See, you can have the highest number, doesn't mean you have the best ratio. See, to me, this Kotaku writer is coming off like a COD player. To me, he's a COD player that he thinks he's the best because he went 30 and 20 in a match, 30 kills, 20 deaths. And he brags that, I got 30 kills. That's almost half what we need to win. Well, yeah, you're right, but you died 20 times, so that means your kill-death ratio is 1.5, whereas I went 10 and 1, which means for every 10 times I kill somebody, I only die once. Technically, I'm the better player. That's the way businesses look at things. Technically, ARMS is selling better than these other games. But we don't think about that. But okay, Horizon, let's say you want to say, well, Horizon's also, a niche game. It's an action-adventure game. It's not online multiplayer like ARMS. Okay. Do you really want me to bring up Killzone? That is the exclusive shooter for the PlayStation 4, right? Killzone Shadowfall. I think it's also made by Guerrilla Games. So, do you really want me to bring up those numbers? Because I don't think Killzone outsold Halo 5. I don't think it's outsold Horizon. I didn't think so. Save yourself the embarrassment. And not only did it not do nearly as well, but it's an established IP. I think Shadowfall is the third or fourth game. So yeah, let's not play that game, people. But here are another few things to consider about this article and how it's complete bullshit. Okay? Keep in mind, ARMS released roughly 7 weeks after Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, I believe, released on April 28th. And if I look at the calendar, that is, and ARMS released June 16th. That's about 7 weeks out. Now, those that are Nintendo fans know that Mario Kart is their biggest and best-selling franchise. Its most popular one. You may hear more when it comes to Smash, but when it comes to outright sales and attach rate, no Nintendo IP tops Mario Kart, man. Mario Kart Wii, over 40 million. That thing is sold more copies than the Thriller album. In fact, it still sold, I think, I heard Mr. T recently say it sold roughly 400,000 units. This is Mario Kart Wii, by the way, for the Wii. It sold that amount of units while after Mario Kart 8 was released on the Wii U. That's still impressive. That game came out a decade ago? Almost? And still selling? Can still move a couple 100,000 units a year? That's pretty damn good. Even though the online has been disconnected, has been eliminated. Come on now. Come on. But that's Nintendo's best selling and most popular IP. And it released after that. Almost 2 months later. Here's something else to keep in mind. But even with that fact alone, ARMS had some competition, had some things pretty much that could potentially stifle its sales. Because there were people waiting for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, like myself. But next up, it also had competition from a game in the same genre. A third-party game. You might know the name of it. Ultra Street Fighter 2 Turbo. An exclusive that was released on Nintendo Switch. I believe it was May 21st. So that came out roughly 3 weeks before ARMS. Almost a month. And it's a fighting game of an established IP with more than 25 years of history. Yeah. And on top of that, it was cheaper. It was $40 as opposed to $60. Almost a month prior to ARMS release, an established IP, probably the longest standing established fighting game franchise of all time, if not, and one of the longest games franchise history, period. I mean, honestly. And it's online multiplayer. So you got that. But yeah. And it's a popular third-party company. I mean, maybe not as popular nowadays, but Capcom is still pretty popular. But yeah, they had to contend with that. And Ultra Street Fighter 2 released, like I said, almost a month prior to ARMS. So ARMS had 2 multiplayer-centric games released before it did. Right? Both of them supported online multiplayer and were, of course, and both of them are very popular franchises and very established franchises. Okay? Here's the third kicker. Splatoon 2 released 5 weeks after ARMS. 5 weeks, people. July 21st. So ARMS actually had internal competition from exclusive games on both sides, both prior to release and shortly after. Yeah. Cut the game a break. Because I can tell you right now, the entire nation of Japan has been waiting on Splatoon. And that game is sold what? It sold like over 1 million units in 3 days. I was one of them. I already have over 130 hours into the game. 130 hours. in 10 days. Yeah, I've been killing it. And that's just me, not include my wife. But so you had Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and Ultra Street Fighter 2 released before ARMS, and Splatoon 2 released after ARMS. And you mean to tell me ARMS still managed? With Splatoon looming on the horizon, the game everyone's waiting on, every Nintendo fan is waiting on. You mean ARMS still managed to sell 1.2 million units in 2 weeks? To me, that tells me ARMS does have legs. And some damn good ones. You can say the game is shallow all you want, which you know it's not. It may not have many mechanics, but it definitely is not shallow. And the article went on to state such things where all the game comprises of you can punch, you can block, you can grab, you can dash, and you can jump. You mean the same things you can do in Smash Brothers, which has become probably the most competitive fighting game ever released, that to some people is still not technically a fighting game? Really? Smash. You have jump. You have special button. You have attack buttons. And you have a dodge button. And a block button. Seriously? So, that game is not any deeper, if at all, than ARMS. But yet ARMS is considered shallow. There may be some shallow play styles. Maybe some shallow mechanics, but the game itself is not shallow. It's been proven to be deep. We saw the tournament. But anyway, I went on for long enough. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments section, whether you agree or disagree. And as I always say, keep it gaming.